Hey everybody, welcome to Old Iron Garage. Thank you for tuning in. So we are going to pick up right where we left off in the last video with this little Clinton Model 410. Correct me if I'm saying that wrong. The first three digits say 410. 410-0105-015. I assume the second and third set of numbers is type number, I'm guessing, but yeah. So let's we're gonna pick up right where we left off with trying to get this to run. Well, in the last video we did get it to run, but only briefly. It fairly quickly, would run out of fuel, starve of fuel, and shut off. So we're gonna pick up where we left off with that. So you see here I have a little fuel line and funnel. I was using that to fill the carburetor and running it off of that, or trying to. Let's get rid of that. So let's get this carburetor off. The carburetor will come off a bit easier if I take this muffler back off. By the way, I forgot to mention two things in the last video. Number one, this muffler is not much of a muffler because I noticed some rust flakes coming out of it. And so I was tapping it and tapping it and tapping it forever on the bench on both ends. Rust just kept coming out and out and out and out and out. So I don't know how much muffler is actually left in there, but it was better than not having one at all. So, yeah. I scavenged this off of a non-running engine sitting on the shelf. Okay, that's just penetrating fluid. I used some penetrating fluid when I put it in. The threads were very wet, and I wanted to know if it was penetrating fluid or fuel, and it was penetrating fluid, so that's good. Now that is out of the way. Oh, the other thing I forgot to mention in the last video is, if you watched it, you'll notice that the bottle that I was filling the carb and that fuel line and funnel from, that's 2-cycle fuel. I like to use this when I'm first bringing an engine back to life, bringing it out of slumber for who knows how long, since it's ran last, because it's a little more gentle. It brings it around a little more gently because, it has 2-cycle oil in it, a little extra lubricant. So, and it runs, the 4-cycle engines run just fine on 2-cycle fuel, so it's not going to hurt anything. Alright, let's get this thing off. Now, something to note, this carburetor is missing the choke, but that will not affect how it runs. The only thing that will do is make it so that even when there's an air filter on here, it can still suck dirty air. So it's not going to hurt anything. Now, the video before last, if you watched that one, this is the second Clinton Model 410 that I've had on my bench. There was one before this one. That video did not end with that engine running. I'm not going to say what's going on with that engine, what I found. I'm just going to say that it did not end with the engine running. I did not even try to start it. So, but in the last video I did say that I was going to use the two engines to make one good one. So I may, upon opening this carburetor, I may decide to go and grab that other carburetor and open that one and see which one I like better. So I may be pulling some parts from that one for this one. Ooh. Threads in this hole don't look to be the greatest, but they're not terrible. They're still there. bolt wiggles around in there a little bit. But that's actually supposed to be a stud, not a bolt. So I'm actually going to get that other engine block up here, pull the stud, pull one of the studs out of there, and put it into here. Just so it is, you know, correct. Another thing I might do is pull this clutch off. I really should have in the last video. I'm just going to go ahead and do that now. Yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and do it right now. Too big? Yeah. Yeah. This is going to be a 1/8 Allen. Oh wow, that was pretty loose. Huh. Wow. I'm going to go ahead and take that all the way out, see if there's another one underneath it. There is not. Ah, well, you know, it just slides right off. Wow. Doesn't get any easier than that. I'm going to set this clutch aside. I intend to keep this and use it at some point. At some point, I want to build a mini bike. A couple. I'd like to build a couple of them, to be honest. One for me, which will either have a... I don't know. I've got a few ideas for an engine, but it might have a hopped up Toro 2-cycle, which is actually a Suzuki built engine, or it might have a hopped up built Briggs 5-horse flathead. It might have a V-twin. I don't know. There's a few ideas that are rolling through my head. So, but we're a long way away from building that mini bike. There. Now we can clean up that shaft, which doesn't look like it'll take much polishing to get it cleaned up. Once I get this running, it's going to take a little bit of fine grit sandpaper and penetrating oil, but it looks like it's already fairly clean, so it shouldn't take much to get that cleaned up. Nice. Now I have a clutch. Just hope it works good. What was I gonna do? Oh yeah, I need a stud. Who knows? I may end up putting this engine on a mini bike for my son. I don't know. We'll see. I want to look up the horsepower rating on this first. Mike, what are the Clinton 410 model 410 engines rated for? Please drop a comment and let me know. I mean, it looks like it'd be about maybe 3 or 3.5 horse, is my guess. Maybe 2.5. I don't know. Drop a comment, let me know. But I will be right back with the other engine to pull some parts. Alright. Got the other engine up here. Also got the bag of hardware. I rummaged through the bag of hardware and found the nut that holds the carburetor on. So now I have 2 of those, and I noticed that one of these studs wiggles, so I should be able to thread it on out, maybe even by hand. There we go. Yep. There she is. That's what I'm after. So this can go back on the floor. I'm going to use the nut to help thread it in. I want to see something. Oh, that's strange. I knew something was goofy about this, so man, I knew something was goofy about this this hole for this stud. The stud kind of goes upward. It's not perfectly flat like the other one when threading it in. That's weird. Let me take another look at this this threaded hole. I'm going to run a thread tap through here once. If I can figure out which one I need. Guess it won't be. The threads are different for the nut, or the two ends of the stud, so nope. Nope. Am I sure it's not that one? That's strange, it's not. But that bolt that came out of that hole is also a bit boogered. I'm going to bring you guys back in just a little bit. Let me get this figured out. Alright, figured it out. It is a 1/4 threaded hole. So I got the right tap in there. And I'm just going to run it on through. Hopefully correct any issues. Got to hold this not vacuum line, this breather hose down and out of the way. Okay, we are all the way through. I'm going to bring it back out. Sure is nice having a tap and die set, but I wish I had a more extensive tap and die set and a better quality one at that. This is El Cheapo from Harbor Freight. Works fine for a first tap and die set. Tap and die set. But it's definitely leaves something to be desired. Still better than not having one at all, though. Definitely didn't fix the issue with it not being quite straight, but either way, it's still going to clamp that carburetor on there, so Thing must have taken a whack at some point in time. Whoa. It's going too far in. That's strange. How far in does this thing want to go? I don't like that. It's supposed to stop once it runs out of threads, and it just wants to keep going in. And it goes in a little further than the other. I don't know if I like that. Should be fine. It doesn't go in that far. So, tell you what though. No, I'm just gonna run it in and sorry, I'm a little indecisive on how I want to address this issue, because these threads have clearly had some, this threaded hole clearly has had some damage at some point, and what I think I'm going to do is clean these threads really well. And put some thread locker on them. I don't believe I have any regular thread locker right now, so let me look. I do not. I'm going to use this, and this is going to be a lot stronger than thread locker, but if I ever do have to take it back out, all I got to do is heat this stud without heating the block too much. I don't even have to get the stud red hot, just get it a little hot. But this stuff will definitely hold it in. This is, you may have seen me use this in a recent video, retaining compound, high strength, Loctite number 638. It's green. Let me tell you, this stuff is strong. This is an anaerobic retaining compound is what it is. So I'm going to have to give that a little bit of time to set up. So I'm going to pause the video here, and I'll bring you guys back when it's ready. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and open up one of these carburetors. This is the carburetor that was on this engine already, and I've already loosened the screw in the bottom of the bowl with the fuel adjustment needle in it, and I'm going to open it up. I'm going to do it over the floor though, because it very likely still has some fuel in it. Jeez, maybe I won't do it over the floor. Yee! Had to get a little aggressive. So inside the bowl does not look terrible. It could use some cleaning up, but it does not look terrible by any means. It looks reasonable. The seal for the little plunger to drain the carb. It does have some very fine cracks. We did give the float just a tiny little ding when it when I was trying to get that bowl off. That's not ideal, but the float is rather clean looking, and as soon as I can get the pin out and get the float out of here, I can check to see if it has a hole in it. There's the needle. Let's take the needle off. I don't hear any gas in there, aside from that tiny little ding, which isn't going to affect the way it functions at all. This float looks to be pretty fantastic. The needle looks to be in excellent shape. There's a seal here. Let me see if I can gently remove that. There we go. That looks to be in good shape. It's like a rubber type seal. So like what, a neoprene or whatever? Rubber. I'm just going to start dissecting this thing carefully. Had to get creative to get this this out because my screwdriver is just not quite wide enough. I had to put the screwdriver into the hole at a 45-degree angle to get it into both slots. That looks good. I can see all the way up through the emulsion tube. I am not going to take that out. Some of them are serviceable, some of them are not serviceable, and I don't know which one this is. I'm also not going to disturb this bowl gasket. I'm going to leave it as is. Looks good. Not going to destroy it by trying to take it out. We have double stacked flange gaskets here where it bolts up. They've got two of them on there. I'm also not going to disturb that. I am going to adjust the idle back down though, because I had it cranked pretty high to try to get this thing to stay running. I'm going to back it off all the way and just crack it open a little bit. I am, however, going to remove this fuel shutoff valve that is somebody put directly on this carburetor. Look in there. Ah, get off of there. That looks good. I mean, there's a little debris in there, just tiny little fine particulate, nothing to worry about. There's another hole, and that looks nice and clear. There is a idle adjustment screw here. Not idle adjustment, low speed adjustment mixture screw. I'm going to take that out. Yeah, looks okay in there. So, I guess I'm just going to give this thing a cleaning, just a down and dirty, quick spray out, cleaning, and go from there. As far as it not having a choke, I don't really have a choke for this one. I may have to scrounge around, and I could put this one in there, but this one needs a little spring to keep the choke in place. And there's no hole, there's no provision in this one for that spring to go into. So first I'd have to see if I can get this spring out of this carburetor and put it into here. Or I could just try to use this carburetor. This one does have a little bit of play in the throttle shaft, which would mean it would have just a small vacuum leak. This one seems to have about the same amount of play. These are slightly different versions of the same carburetor. These are a Walbro, well, I believe it's a Walbro. I mean, it's an LMG. That LMG is a Walbro carburetor. This is a LMG 154, I think. This is an LMG 182. Whoa! Ha ha! Wow. Look at how much light you can see through there. Like, you can very clearly see my shirt in the background through there. Look at how big of a gap there is across there. I'm putting this on there. This is a perfectly straight edge. Yeah. This flange here is badly warped. I mean, you can see it. You can see it without me even having put a straight edge on there. This is badly warped. So I'm going to try to use this carburetor just so I don't have to mess with that. That can be fixed, but you gotta put it on some sandpaper on a hard, flat, perfectly flat surface. And that'd be a lot of sanding. And I'd also be taking a lot of material off, which would weaken it. So I'm going to just say that we're going to use this carburetor as parts. This could still be a usable carburetor if need be, but I really don't want to reuse this carburetor. I am going to take the bowl off of this one and look inside, but you know, I'll just go ahead and do that right now. Let me get the air cleaner assembly off of here, because this carburetor does need an air cleaner assembly, but this filter has seen better days. It's not crumbling yet, but it is on the verge of getting ready to start becoming crumbly. This foam is not what it once was. So that is going to go away. And I'm just going to cut. I don't have a pre-made like correct filter for this air cleaner box, but what I do have is some foam filter. I do have some air filter foam that I can cut from to make a new filter. Come on, get out of there. I'm just going to put this back in here for now so it holds the screws and stuff in place without it rattling around. So there's that. And I'm going to take this off just to get it kind of out of the way, because it's got one screw missing, so it's flopping around. Alright, now I'm going to open this up and I'm going to look at the rubber seal on this this little what I forget what it's called. The plunger you push in to drain the carburetor. Ew. Look at the inside of that bowl, all brown in the bottom. Now, the reason why I wanted to look at this one is because I could tell that this one was newer. Someone had more recently put this one in, but they didn't put it in right and it ended up breaking the seal. Darn. Well, that stinks. That rubber seal is broken. Well, that really stinks. Okay. I don't think there's anything I need off of this one for now except for the choke. Let me see if I can get that to come out. That spring. I know I can get the choke, like the butterfly valve, and the shaft out. But the little spring that holds the shaft in, or holds the choke in whatever position you put it in, I'm going to need that. Also, if I'm putting a choke in here. So I will show you what I'm talking about as soon as I get the shaft out of the way. So, let me get this back on. So right here, there's a little spring. And it works as like a detent, kind of. And I don't know if I can get that worked out of there. I'm going to try very carefully to get it out without destroying it. And I either got it out or I twisted it off. There's enough there that I can put it in the other. Did I twist some of it off in there? No, I got it out. Didn't leave any behind. Good. This carburetor doesn't really have anything else to offer at this time, so I'll set it aside. Alrighty, so I have these. I have a choke assembly for this other carburetor now. I really would like to get that is warped also, I can see it. Don't like that. Man. I was going to say I really would like to get this gasket off of here and check to see if it's warped. But I can see that it is warped. So I'm going to play around with trying to get that gasket off of there in one piece off camera, and I'll bring you guys back in a little bit. Okay, so I got the gaskets off of there. They're still intact. This too is warped, just like I showed you on the other one. I'm probably gonna sand it a little bit, but I'm not gonna spend a lot of time doing it. I'm not gonna take it all the way down to perfect, because I don't want to take that much material off. But I'm going to take it down a little ways, and when I go to put this on, I'm going to use a good RTV gasket maker, or actually I may use this other sealer, this Forma gasket, Permatex Forma gasket stuff that is fuel rated. I might use that, I'm not sure yet. Let me get some sandpaper. I'll be back. Okay, I got some 80 grit here. Let me try to steady the camera. It's hard to steady on this mount. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to have to turn this idle up as high as I can. Turn this screw in as far. That's not going to be enough. Darn. I need to get this this lever on the throttle shaft up and out of the way. I'm just going to have to hold it out of the way. And in case you never see me do this before, I'm not going to show you the whole process from start to finish because it's just a lot of the same thing. But oh, okay. Sorry, I got distracted. But basically, you take some sandpaper. The more warped it is, the more aggressive sandpaper you want to start with. That's why I'm starting with 80 grit. And you just put some kind of lubricant on there, WD-40 or just whatever penetrating oil you have. You put it on a perfectly flat surface, smooth, flat surface, and you just go like this. And it just takes material off, and you just keep doing that until it's perfectly flat. Just like this. I can already see the aluminum coming off on the 80 grit sandpaper. And I'm going to bring you guys back once I've made some progress. Alrighty. So made some progress. You see where it's shining up out near the ends, where by the bolt holes? That's because those are the high spots. That's where it's contacting the sandpaper. The area in the middle where it's still kind of a dull gray is not contacting the sandpaper. And yeah, that's where the leak would be. Now, I don't know how much further I'm going to take this. I really wasn't planning on taking it all the way like I normally would, but because I don't want to take off too much material and make it weak, I'm honestly probably going to stop here. But by taking off what I did, it has drastically reduced the gap. It's drastically reduced the gap, so that way, well, it just, you know, closes up the gap quite a bit. And I'm still going to have to use some sealer with it, and that's fine. But it just by closing up the gap, it just makes it so there's less gap to fill with sealer. So I'm going to switch gears here and just start cleaning the carburetor. And I'm sure you guys have seen me clean carburetors, or other YouTubers that have a similar type of channel or same type of channel clean carburetors many times. So I'm not going to show that on camera. I'm going at it with some carb cleaner. That's it. Bring you guys back in a bit. Alright, I'm back. So I've actually got the carburetor fully cleaned and assembled. Yep, I put some fuel rated sealer right here just to ensure that that will not leak. Before taking it apart, the only place that leaked was right here. I'm going to have to order a kit for that. If I can get this thing to run right, then I'll order a kit for that. They're not expensive. I may end up, well, if this runs well enough, then I won't order a full carburetor rebuild kit. But if it still doesn't run well, then I may. But looking around in here, I didn't see any reason why it should not run well. It honestly was probably just a matter of getting it tuned properly. But we're going to play around with it and see if we can get it dialed in and get it to run right. Couple things I did. I did go ahead and bench tune this carburetor again with the mixture screws. I do need to turn the idle back out a little still because it's cranked all the way in right now. Let me do that real quick. That should be enough to get it to idle. And I did install the choke. I did have to drill a little hole here for this little spring right here. That works as like a detent to keep it in either at no choke, half choke, or full choke. But yeah, I drilled that and I installed the spring and then I installed the choke. Yeah, so let's install this thing. So first things first, I'm just going to use one gasket. There was a thin gasket and a thick gasket. I'm going to use the thick gasket. And there's nothing wrong with this gasket. It is nice and clean. It's not torn. And I'm going to put I'm actually going to use this instead of the fuel rated sealer. I've always used this there before. I don't see any need to use anything other than this. But with that carburetor being so warped, I did plane that gasket surface somewhat, but I didn't plane it all the way because I didn't want to take off too much material and take, some of the strength out of that flange. Okay, the gasket is there. Now I just need to put a thin film of the RTV on the carburetor. I'm going to put just a little bit more on, because this thing is pretty badly warped. As you can see, I'm not putting it around the bolt holes. Those don't need to seal. So, yeah, I'm just putting it around the port for the, come on, get on there. Oh, geez. Just putting it around the port for the, good Lord. That one threaded hole for the stud is tweaked a little bit, and so the stud is tweaked a little bit, but yeah, I'm just putting it around the port where it the air fuel mixture goes through. So I'm gonna tap on this with a rubber mallet to get it on. There we are, it's on. But it needs to come back off a little bit for me to get these nuts in there to thread them, get them started. Threading on. There we go, there's one. The other one will go on with it all the way in. So let's get that one on now. Here we are. I don't need to make it crazy, insane tight. I got that RTV in there that will make a good and guaranteed seal. And by making it overly tight, you're just warping the gasket surface even further. All right, that should be good and sealed. I want to check something. Alrighty, good to go. Well, I believe the only thing I have left to do is put this muffler in. Yep, got to put a muffler on it. Alright, now should just have to put some fuel in it and fire it up. So I'm going to use this again, but I'm going to shorten it. Let's fill the carburetor, and this drain will, that plunger to drain the carburetor will undoubtedly be leaking. So now we have to open this valve. And yep, there we have the start of a leak. Looks to be leaking fairly slow. Alright. Okay. Just gonna put a rag under it. Oops. Oh well, I'll pick that up later. Okay, I'm gonna try it to do it without priming the carburetor, as far as like, you know, spraying it in the intake. Alright, now the carburetor's full. I thought it was already, and it wasn't. Let's move this out here. See if she will start for us. Holy cow, she's running. Let's back off the, let's lean out the low speed adjustment. Half a turn. Oh wait, what am I thinking? I didn't take it off choke, so I'm going to set that back to right where it was. And I'm just going to take it off a choke now. Okay, so same issue. Ran out of fuel. I'm going to fatten up the that mixture. No, I am not thinking straight. I am very tired. Actually, I'm going to fatten up that mixture 1/4 turn. See if that changes anything. Give her a little more fuel again. I'm gonna put her on 1/4 choke or 1/2 choke and see if I can just get it to start and stay running. Okay, full choke. We're still running out of fuel for some reason. Everything's been cleaned in this carburetor very well, except I did not take out the main jet because sometimes those are not serviceable. And that's kind of what I'm afraid of here with this one. I feel like the main jet in this one is not serviceable. I'm gonna try backing off the idle speed screw a little bit, see if I can get it to at least run a little bit longer. Give me a little bit of time to play with it before it dies. I mean, shoot. Sorry about that. Hope I did not just shear the key. I accidentally let go of the trigger of the screw gun before. Pulling the socket off. That's a good way to back your flywheel nut off, which is a good way to shear your flywheel key. Yeet. Well, I guess we'll tighten this and see if we still have spark. That was just brilliant. I will bring you guys back in just a little bit. Alright everybody, this is where I'm at right now. I have it clamped down to make it a little more manageable, so I have a hand free to do whatever once it starts. And I've been playing around with it a little bit off camera, and I've not made much progress, and part of me is wondering is if it's not wanting to stay running, if it's starving of fuel because it doesn't have the restriction of an air filter. I know, you know, the small engines tend to be finicky with running an air filter versus not running an air filter. It does, some more than others, it does throw the air-fuel mixture off a little bit. So I went ahead and decided to put the air filter housing on, but I'm not going to run this thing. This thing is past its service life. I cut one out of one of these air filters here. I ordered these. It's a 2-pack of foam air filters, decent sized ones, specifically for the purpose of cutting air filters, custom, you know, sized air filters from these. So that way, if I need one and I need it now, or if it's when it's hard to find, or if it's too expensive, I can just cut my own. So, like this 2-pack was like maybe $6 something for the both of them. It was cheap on Amazon. So, yeah, I cut one, and it's a pretty good fit. Like, it's a good fit aside from that factory rounded corner of that air filter that I cut it from, but that's really not that big of a deal, because I cut it slightly oversized. Once you squeeze it in there, it really is a pretty darn good fit. So I'm going to throw this on. I will oil the air filter later. I'm trying to remember which way this went. Hey, now, don't fall out. Okay, sorry. I spaced out. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm going to pause the video, and I'll bring you guys back once I have it on, and I'm ready to try it again. Alright guys, I have played with it, and played with it, and played with it off camera. Tried a bunch of different things. The only way I can get it to stay running is to have it mostly choked, but not all the way choked. Like, almost completely choked. And even then, it only runs for so long. And so, I'm not sure what's going on. Clearly the carburetor still needs some work. So, that's going to come back apart, I guess. But also, I think I might have another one of these on the shelf. Another one of these Clinton Model 410s on the shelf. And it might have another carburetor. So, I don't know, another carburetor might be a possibility. But I really don't see anything wrong with this one. This one might have to come off and soak in the Berryman Chem Dip carburetor cleaner for a day. Don't know. But I am going to cut the video here. And, yeah, I'm going to cut the video here because I don't really know what else to do at this point. Other than, well, the stuff I just listed. And, anyways, so I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And if you did, give it a thumbs up. Drop a comment, let me know your thoughts. And if you guys have not already subscribed to this channel, please hit that subscribe button if you want to see more content like this in the future, and I will see you in the next one. Later.